Normally, when you hear the fans cheering in the state of Indiana, it's for basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the case this week in Hammond, as Mickey Spezio starts our championship round. Championship pair, lanes 31 and 32.
And Mickey had the choice of what lane he wanted to finish on. He's chosen to finish on lane 32, which means he'll finish last in the 10th frame.
Yeah, looked like he might have stood up a touch on the opening offering, but he leaves the solid four.
Pretty solid shot, first shot, get it underway in the 1-3 pocket, leaves the 4-pin.
Mickey, with career earnings in excess of $40,000, really has rejuvenated his career among the PBA senior ranks.
Well, he's been a solid performer. He has 2 titles already. Ever since he's come out, turned 50, he's been performing well. Throws the ball relatively straight, keeps it in play.
For those players around the Midwest, of course, they're very familiar with Mickey's exploits throughout the years. A very fine, consistent player here near the Chicago area. Good friend of yours, Bobby Meadows.
Used to work for this gentleman a few years ago. Meadows, a 5-step player, figure 8's the ball.
Comes out, slashes him around a little bit, and carries the 5 and the 7.
Well, it wasn't one of his best offerings, but it did get the wall shot there, Denny.
An X in the first for Bobby Meadows. John Handegard is our number 3 seed, then Les Sykes and Dick Beattie.
Bobby trying to jump out for a quick double, and there we see that Meadows playing right around a little left of the 3rd arrow, swinging it out 17 miles an hour at the 15-foot mark.
That one worked out pretty nicely as well. Angle tightened up just a little bit, so Meadows, who starts with a double, now leads by 10.
Well, Mickey's right on track with his earnings this year to get up to where he was last year. Oh, what? Did you see that ball hook a little bit about the 45, 50-foot mark and then set right solid in the pocket, but just solid for a 4-9. Mickey, very deliberate player. See how he heel toes every step. Arms out there. Not much of a slide here. The fellows have had a little trouble with the approaches this week.
Takes a little bit too much of the 4, so it's an open frame for Spezio here in the 2nd.
Not his fault. It was an excellent shot. He just, the 4-9 is a pocket split where the ball drives through too strongly.
What we'd like to point out now, also early on in the telecast, is the fact that we are under siege right now in Hammond, Indiana. A very powerful thunderstorm passing overhead, and hopefully the pictures will continue to Bristol, Connecticut, and all throughout the country. But if we do lose you momentarily, it's more Mother Nature than anything else.
Mickey coming in the wall shot where Meadows carried it. Mickey leaves the 5-pin.
Won his first PBA championship down in Fort Pierce, first senior championship, that is. Also won the senior touring pro doubles when it was held in Green Bay.
And won that with Rowdy Morrow.
That's right. Now Rowdy is his son-in-law.
Kept it in the family.
Sure. Kind of an unusual lean back to start mechanism, his approach. No problem with the 5-pin. So Spezio, though, finds himself trailing in the early stages in this one by 23. And if Meadows strikes right here, he's got Spezio on the ropes early on.
Meadows standing left, putting his left foot about on the 30th board, which is the last dot in this bowling center. Again, he's a field player. And he felt him on the Brooklyn side that time. He'll take it.
Shame, shame there, Mr. Meadows, but he'll start with the first 3.
Well, what are you going to do when it crosses over and you get the strike? You got to take it. I learned a long time ago, Dan, that you don't throw those back. And we see here, let's see where it goes, right around the 3rd arrow, breaking too sharply right now. And the 3-pin and pushes into the 6, and the 6 pushes into the 10.
Well, you knew he was going to make some kind of an adjustment after barely hitting the head pin and striking in the first. And this shot hangs a little on him, and he leaves a washout.
Wow, I mean, he was just solid in the second frame on that shot. He's just really confused, it seems, even though he started with a turkey. Switches balls here to shoot the spare. He's got several of them out there. There's only 2 players, and they got 5 bowling balls.
An assortment, and he runs it down beautifully. So with a clenched fist, Bobby Meadows starts with the first 3, then falters, but picks up the washout and leads by 33 here in game number 1 of the $50,000 Hammond PBA Open. We'll be back with more of match number 1 after these messages. 160 players to start the week. The overall average just a little under 190. That's a little on the low side for the PBA seniors, but in match play the high average, as offered by Dick Beattie, better than 225.
Qualifying leader Bill Beach averaged 216 for his first 18 games.
Really bowled well through the first 5 rounds. Had a little problem last night. And a little more arc this time for Spezio, who strikes on 32. He's going to have to make up for lost time.
I think he's still in this match, Tim, because he's throwing every ball in the pocket. Meadows, during the commercial break, cleaned out his thumb hole, and I think he's fighting that release a little bit. The thumb hole just doesn't feel quite right to him. There we see Mickey right over the 3rd arrow, 17.6 miles per hour. And we see the ball tracking out to about the 10th board and then back to the 17th board, which is the pocket.
Keep in mind that's the 10th board or near the 11th board at 45 feet. Tries to hold pocket. The 4 is gone. The 9 gets nudged, but stands nonetheless.
Almost got the good break.
Well, he's already had one tough break as he left the 4-9 in the second.
Relatively easy spare here, cross lane at the 6-pin. Well, Mickey didn't let me down. He made it.
Well, he's a fine spare shooter. Also has won a couple of gold medals in FIQ competition. We have a couple of international players on the telecast.
Well, he and Les Sykes, right,
Sure.
and have been outstanding international players. Just dropped that one. It just kind of dumped off his hand, and he's just fighting that release. That ball doesn't feel comfortable in his hand. See Bobby with his 5-step approach. See the figure 8. His hand's on top of the ball. Now he turns back around and on the side right here, and just right at that point, it didn't come off clean.